Wednesday, everyone. Today, Wednesday, March 24th, we are moving on to a new topic, a current event topic for social studies, another one of your survivor words, gerrymandering. We've sort of started to talk about this a little bit back when we talked about Article 1 of the Constitution and congressional districts, but we didn't get into it. And so that's really what we're going to do with today and tomorrow and part of Friday. So, first things first, what is this gerrymandering? It's another weird word followed by filibuster, right? So we're going to start with that. What is it? And we're going to do two things. I'm going to start by reading an article to give you an introduction, and then we're going to watch a video that explains gerrymandering through the lens of pizza, because pizza is the greatest food of all time. After that, then, you're going to have the second portion of class today to read an article titled, Are Our Elections Rigged? You're going to read the article and answer 4 quick questions, but you do not need to submit today. You're going to submit that activity tomorrow. Okay, so first things first, what is gerrymandering? Today I'm going to be giving you this article titled, Are Our Elections Rigged? It's a pretty hot take. And the subtitle says, Critics say gerrymandering has distorted American democracy. And will the Supreme Court put an end to it? So, I'm going to start by reading the introduction. Just follow along with me. Wisconsin has about as many Democrats as Republicans, but you wouldn't know that from looking at the Wisconsin state legislature. Republicans hold 65% of the seats. That's a bigger majority than Republican legislators have in a solidly conservative state like Texas. How is that possible? The answer is gerrymandering. Gerrymandering occurs when politicians on both sides draw election district maps in a way that gives their party an advantage. After the 2010 census, Republican lawmakers in Wisconsin redrew their maps. They put as many Democratic voters as possible into a small number of urban districts. That removed Democratic voters from other districts that would have otherwise been competitive. The new maps changed nothing about where people lived. They only changed the district in which their votes were counted. Rearranging districts helped Republicans transform very close statewide vote totals into lopsided legislative majorities. The new district maps took effect in 2012. During that election year, Republicans won less than 49% of the total votes statewide for state assembly candidates, but captured 60 of the body's 99 seats. The situation in Wisconsin is the focus of a Supreme Court case challenging the constitutionality of gerrymandering. The case is titled Jill versus Whitford, which, spoiler alert, I'm sorry to say, this article is a few years old. Since then, the Supreme Court decided that gerrymandering is in fact allowed and that the states can do it. And there's a second case titled Benesic versus Lamone that challenges partisan gerrymandering by Democrats in Maryland. The two cases have huge implications for American democracy. However, unfortunately, we are still practicing this. Or fortunately, maybe it's something we, think should stick around. We're going to read the rest of the article a little bit later today. However, what does this actually mean? What does this actually look like? It means that our maps, our congressional maps that determine who has power in this country are wacky looking and oftentimes are not representative of an actual solid district because they're drawn by politicians. So, for example, this is known as the earmuff district. Districts are supposed to be square. Yes, right? Think about it. Or at least some sort of semblance of a square, right? A rectangle, I don't know. This is not that. This is Illinois' 4th congressional district. And in that district, it has been dominated by Democratic politicians for a long, long time. Why? Because it was gerrymandered. So, in order to understand this, it gets a little complicated. We can look at earmuffs, we can look at images, but we're going to look at pizza next. So let's watch this video that explains gerrymandering with pizza.
Redistricting is how states change the boundaries for areas that vote for each of their congressional seats in the House of Representatives.
Also, what crazy person would cut a pizza like that? My goodness. Anyway.
Congressional seats in the House of Representatives. In some states, the process is done by a bipartisan committee to make sure that each slice has an even number of pepper voters and pineapple voters. But in 36 states, the process is done by whichever party is in charge. This means you could wind up with 3 slices that are majority green pepper. It's not exactly fair to the pineapple. For instance, in North Carolina, there was a district that used to be 60% onion voters and 40% tomato. But when the tomatoes were in charge of the whole state, they resliced the district so it was only 45% onion, and the long-serving onion congressman lost his job. In an Illinois district, there was a part of Chicago that was primarily Hawaiian pizzas, sandwiched between a bunch of spinach neighborhoods. A fair way to slice the pizza would have had the Hawaiian slices distributed evenly with their neighbor. But Illinois did it a little different. These partisan pizza redistricting practices could be an explanation of why, in a country where 50% of voters went for cheese representatives and 50% went for pepperoni, the pepperoni could have more slices of the pie.
Aha! Pizza. Okay, so in general, you're going to read a lot more about this to really understand how it works and what it actually looks like in practice. But right now, what you need to know is that gerrymandering is utilized by both Democrats and Republicans to draw maps in their favor. 36 states allow for this to happen. The other states that are not included in that clump have other groups of people draw their districts to make sure it's more even, or that's the idea. With that being said, it is still up to the states to decide. So we're going to talk about gerrymandering for the rest of today as well as tomorrow. You're going to read the rest of the article, which, by the way, it looks like it's 4 pages. It's really a ton of graphics and maps, okay? It'll go by very, very fast. You're going to read the article, and after you're done reading the article, you're going to answer some comprehension questions here. Questions 1 through 4 on the activity titled, Are Our Elections Rigged? Do not submit it after that, but that's all you need to do to complete the activity for today. Tomorrow, we will do parts 2 and 3. All right, guys, have a good day. Email me if you have any questions.